What's going on, you guys? So today I'm going to be doing spark plug wires on the car, and you already seen me do the coil relocation brackets, so I figured I would run through on how to build a custom spark plug wire for if you ever want to do something like that where you're relocating coil packs. So let's get started. So a couple things you're going to need to get the job done. A pair of wire crimpers. These are specifically designed for doing spark plug wires. These are not mine. I borrowed them from work. You'll need to get wire. So I have a spool here of MSD 8.5 mil, I believe it is. Yep, 8.5 millimeter spark plug wire. And then you're going to need to figure out what boots and connector styles you need. So MSD has several different styles of connectors. You're going to need to look up what will work best for your application. Since I have tight clearances on a lot of stuff, I'm actually using 90-degree boots to do the spark plug side. And then I have the 45-degree spark plug, or 45-degree boots for the coil side. Now these are specific for LS's. I'll zoom in on that a little, or I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see the part number on it. I don't know where the part number is for the MSD plug side, but you know, you go on Summit, Jags, anywhere like that, you'll be able to find what you need for your application. And there's plenty of stuff out there, and it's great for doing stuff like this. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is get your coils mounted so you know where your coils are going to be. Basically what I do is I take my wire and I kind of route it the route I want to go and kind of line it up to the tip of the spark plug. So I'll line it up down there with the tip, where the tip of the spark plug is. Same thing with this. Bring this up on this end. So I'm going to make it about that long. Usually I want to go, you know, about up to a little bit up past where the terminal is inside the coil. And then I'll take that size, and then what I want to do is I want to go about 2 inches past that, just so I have a little bit of excess on it, and you'll see why in a second. Now, the reason why I cut it a little bit extra long is because I need to get this boot over this wire first. Now, this is the hardest part of doing this. It is possible to crimp the ends on first and then shove them in there. It can be a real bitch to do that way though. So what I prefer to do is I actually like to get the wire up in there, and then once the wire is inside the boot to about there, it gets really, really hard to push it through any further. So the reason I cut it longer is because I'll go in there with a pair of pliers, grab it, and pull it the rest of the way through. Now when you do that, you're going to damage the end of the wire, so that's why I leave a little bit extra so I can pull it through, cut that little bit, that little inch off or whatever I need, crimp the terminal on, then pull it back through. Now the best way to get the wire through is soapy water. I usually spray a little bit of soapy water in there. This is an old Lucas Speed Wax bottle. Just if you got any detailing spray or anything like that, any empty bottles laying around, fill them up with some soapy water. Just spray it down in there, because the soapy water will dry up really nice and easily. So then you take the wire. This is the not fun part. This is actually the hardest part of the whole deal. And you'll get it to a point right about there where it just doesn't want to go in anymore. So see it down in there. I can't push that through anymore. That's as far as I'm getting it. So the reason you want to do this before you put the terminal end on is because if that gets stuck and you try to pull it, you can damage the terminal end. And you're going to want to kind of go easy with it. Give it a little bit of a turn. We're through. All right. Now, I mangled the shit out of that pulling it through. But we left a lot of extra on there. So we're just gonna go down to about, we'll go down to about there. Snip that off. Make sure everything still looks good on the inside, which it does. Now the next thing we're gonna do, take our cutters, and there's two different styles for this. There's the style where you crimp the conductor and then you crimp the actual wire itself, so you have two crimps. And then there's a style where it's a single crimp, where you actually strip off a little bit extra, fold the conductor under, and then crimp onto the wire. So my spark plug side are double crimp, my coil side are single crimp. So on single crimp, you're gonna wanna go a little bit extra on there, about there. I usually go about a 1/4 inch past it. And the nice thing about these ratcheting strippers is kind of, and you get a nice clean strip on it. I like to go through, just snip off any little bits of fiberglass or anything like that that's hanging out on there. And then we have the coil side terminal. What you're gonna do is fold this over, stick it under it like that. Now, these can be a bitch to just get straight into the crimper and hold them in place. So what I like to do is take a pair of pliers and just kind of give it a little bit of a squeeze just to get it started and hold it in place. And then you have the crimpers right here. You can kind of see the die on it. Line that up right where you need it to go. And it's crimped. Now, one thing I have done before after doing this, which you got to be careful for, is when you go to pull the boot back over, don't pull it too hard and yank it off. Then you're kind of going to be screwed. You're going to need to either find a way to snake this back in there, which can be a real bitch to do without damaging it, or uncrimp it and redo it again, which is also not fun, kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm going to throw a little bit of soapy water in here. Get that lubed up a little, dump out the excess. You know what, I'm gonna spray the wire down too, just so we got a little bit on the wire. Want to do that. Whew. Oh, I got lucky. Oh, I got real lucky. So, like you seen, I was going, it was real tight, and then all of a sudden it just wanted to come off. Luckily, I stopped it before it went past the 45. If it goes past that 45 there, it can be a real nightmare to get it back in there. But it is on there, so I'm gonna kind of mess with it a little bit, try to get it a little more centered. There we go. Now, before I finish the wire, I want to go over to the coil, test fit it, make sure it all lines up still and it's still the right length. I didn't cut too much off. Make sure it clicks onto the coil nice and easy, make sure nothing's damaged. Before I go and push this on the coil though, I want to make sure it's dried out on the inside, because if there's still soapy water in there, when you actually go to push it on the coil, you can actually push the wire out, so it won't go on. So make sure it's dry before you try to push it back on. Otherwise, you can make things a lot more difficult for yourself in the future. Let's see. You're going to want to push it on. You're going to want to listen for it to click in place. There it goes. So now we know that's got a good connection on there. Once we know that's in the right spot, you're going to want to redo this right here. So actually, this is going to be angled this way for starters. So it's going to take some length off of there. And I believe the length we have right now is good. We test fit the wire again after putting the coil side on, and we know our length is good, so now we need to put the spark plug side on. Now the difference between the spark plug side and the coil side is I can actually crimp the spark plug side before I put the boot on. These ones actually go together really easily after the terminal is on it. Now these are the double crimp style. So see how it's got 2 crimp points on there right there? So conductor is going to go in there, and the wire is going to go on this side. So first I'm going to clean this up first. Just take a little bit off that. Now to strip these, you see on the die how it's got that notch on it? You're going to bring it right to that notch right there so it's like flush. And then just strip it. Now once you do that, you're going to want to make sure that when your conductor's in there, it doesn't go into the spark plug area, because then you won't be able to push it onto the plug all the way. So let's see if I can focus on that at all. Nope. That's close enough. Anyways, that's how that goes. And to crimp these, what I do is I hold it on a bit of an angle like that, just to push that conductor up into it a little more. And then I'm going to use the top circle ones. Now, so you're going to have it facing forward like that when you crimp it. Hold it down on that angle, and then crimp it down into place. And that's how that'll crimp down in there. Sorry, I can't really like focus in on anything. Sorry, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, moving on. Second crimp, same thing as before with the other one. I like to start it off by giving it a little bit of a squeeze in with the pliers, just to get it started. Nothing crazy, you don't want to like crimp it down with the pliers, just to get it started. Just fold it over a little bit, and it just makes it slide into the die a little bit easier. So you can see how it's already started into the die. And then just take it and just like that. Now that's crimped down there. So the nice thing about these is they actually, with these 90-degree boots, they'll actually slide in and go in there pretty easily. So same thing as before. Take a little bit of soapy water, spray it in there. And then this one, we'll just push this. I mean, they go in, I wouldn't say they go in super easy, but they do go in with not much of an issue. So, bam. Spark plug side is in. And we have a spark plug wire. So, let's test fit it. Make sure everything looks good. So we're going to put the wire down in here. Listen for it to pop on when you push it in place. Right there, clicked in place. Same thing with the coil wire. There we go. Coil wire's in place. And the length looks good on everything, so I'll bring you guys around here and show you how it looks. So you get the idea of how I'm going to be running these. They're going to come off on this angle and then go under the manifold. And route right up into the plug. So they got that nice 90-degree bend on them for clearance. And then obviously I'm going to have to tie all the wires together and make some mount brackets. Now obviously once all the wires are done, I'm going to have to get some mount brackets, tie them up out of place, make it look clean and tidy. Make sure everything is protected well. So the wires, I'm going to do that nice heat wrap over them, and just keep it all protected and clean, so it'll look good and it'll work good too. We don't want them to rub on the exhaust or anything like that for sure. Already do this side, so that side is all routed down, and I mean you can barely see. I got so much shit going on over here now, you can't see anything. So you can see how I got everything routed over on this side here. Nice 90-degree boots on everything to keep everything out of the way of the headers and for clearance issues and stuff like that. We're doing coil relocation brackets and stuff like this. I really do suggest building your own spark plug wires. It's not too difficult once you kind of get the groove of it. The first couple, you'll probably be sitting there cussing and swearing. So a word of advice, if you have never built spark plug wires before, when you order the boots and the terminal kits, buy a couple extra just in case. So I probably destroyed 2 or 3 my first time I did these. Just you know, trying to pull them through with pliers or something, or smashing them wrong, or you know, just fucking up in general and being an idiot. But once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad to do, and it's something I would highly recommend. So that's going to be it for this one. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I got a bunch of little build tip videos and stuff like this on my channel. Obviously the vehicle build and all that. Like the video if you liked it. I really hope that stuff like this helps you guys out. If anybody's curious about stuff and was just too afraid to do it, never seen anybody do it before, really hope it helps you out. And that's going to be it. So I'll catch you guys later.